It brings spokesperson for the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in KwaZulu-Natal, Siboniso Mngadi, to give us the latest update on the situation in the province. Siboniso, good afternoon, and thank you for your time with us on the SABC at this hour.
No, thank you so much, and greeting to the viewers at home.
Just given the numbers and data emerging as we speak, perhaps you could just verify the death toll as it stands and the number of injuries given the heavy rains that obviously had havoc in December and January this year.
Yes, we've been experiencing quite a number of devastation caused by the inclement weather throughout the province. But so far, we have calculated around 40 people that have been confirmed to have passed away as a result. These include the accident that happened in the area of Ladysmith on the Christmas Eve, which so far is confirmed to have claimed 23 people. But there were also other incidences that were reported throughout the province, with the most recent one being the farm workers that were struck by lightning in the area of Bergville on Tuesday. But we've also recorded the incident where people have drowned on the beaches, and some were drowned while they were trying to cross the rivers while it was raining. So our disaster management teams have been on the ground working together with the search and rescue teams, where we work with the social partners such as IPSS, Medical Rescue, Dad Foundation, which have done quite a fantastic job in terms of ensuring that we recover the most of the people that have been reported missing. The search and rescue is still continuing on the ground to ensure that even 5 that is still reported missing, we do to try and to discover them to help those families that are in distress. But I must also say that there were also extensive damages that were reported in various places across the province. About 800 households have so far been counted to have been affected by these heavy rains.
Siboniso, thank you for that. Given the search and rescue and recovery operations, perhaps you could also speak to that process of the DNA testing that's underway to provide some answers and closure for families affected.
Yeah, well, you recall that during the first days of the search and rescue, it was in a difficult situation, but as time goes, some of the bodies, when they are recovered, they are not in a condition where they can easily be recognized. So we have now, we find ourselves in a situation where we have to take these bodies through DNA to confirm that it is indeed the one of those that have been reported missing. So we are currently undergoing those process after the recent bodies that were discovered in the area of Ladysmith. So, but however, in Pietermaritzburg, you'll recall that there was an incident that took place on a Christmas Eve where a car was washed away with 3 occupants. We only so far discovered only the 2. There's other one that is still missing. So the search and rescue is still continuing to look for that missing person.
The reports indicate that the Utukela district was the worst affected. Perhaps you could give us an update on that front. What are some of the most dire needs? But also looking at the province at large, what are some of the interim plans in place to mitigate in the short term at least?
Yes, Utukela district, that is including the Ladysmith area and surrounding. It was the most affected in terms of the fatalities that were recorded there. 23 people recorded in Ladysmith. That is quite a worrying number. But in terms of the infrastructure and household, there was a very few houses that were affected in Ladysmith, because you recall that most of these people, they were in the cars when the riverbank collapsed and swept away those vehicles, and unfortunately most of them, they passed away. But in other areas in the province, our disaster management teams are also providing the relief as they are doing assessment in the form of blankets, plastic sheetings, vouchers, and the box B, which contains all the necessities that a human being needs on a daily basis. But we are also working with the other departments such as human settlement to look into assisting people with the rebuilding, because most of these houses that were damaged, they suffered minor to moderate damages. Some can still be rebuilt, and there were quite some, like over 200 that were completely damaged. and we are looking at helping those people to rebuild those homes.
Okay, so you're speaking about collaborations between the different departments and NGOs that will offer help. I wonder if you could also just speak to concerns about further inclement weather patterns. What are you observing on that front? If there are tips and vital pieces of information that need to be imparted, what would you also like to say at this point to those watching?
Yeah, well, I must indicate firstly that we started launching summer disaster awareness campaign that were led by MEC Siboniso in the province. We've launched this awareness campaign in various towns across the province as early as August this year. Our aim was also to make our people aware of the dangers that are posed with these heavy rains. The South African Weather Services have informed us that the province will experience more than the normal rainfall throughout the summer season. So part of our plans, we are still sharing information and early warnings through various groups. We're using also the media to ensure that everyone gets the information. We advise people to remain indoors when it's raining, and those that are living in low-lying areas, they must move to upper ground so that when it's raining, they don't get affected. But what we discourage mostly is traveling when it's raining. The motorists they've suffered also during these disasters. So when it's raining, we advise people to try and postpone the trip if it's still raining. People those in rural areas also, they must refrain from trying to cross the Solent River because it has also cost lives during this summer rains up until this point. So these are some of the tips that we've been sharing, but there's quite a number of them that we communicated through WhatsApp group. We're working with the ward councillors, traditional leaders, and all municipalities because our disaster management centers operate from all the municipalities within the province.